It was November 9th, 2009, the day before opening day of West River deer hunting in Wall, South Dakota. My dad, grandfather, uncle, cousin, my cousin's friend and I were on our way to our hunting spot. Every year we take my dad's massive Yellowstone RV camper and park it right outside the hunting grounds so we can sleep in a little later but hunt at the same time early morning the next day. We arrive around 7 p.m. full of smiles and excitement. We set up, level the camper, and get our morning hunting gear organized. As the night progresses, we crack jokes at one another, tell stories, and make bets. We end up staying up too late, but all of us are too nervous to sleep anyways. After a couple of card games, we, one by one, drift off, dreaming of shooting a monstrous, non-typical buck, including me, even though I only had 2 doe tags this year. The next morning, I was awakened by the sound of multiple alarm clocks going off. I quickly get up and turn off mine. It was 5:30 a.m., 1 hour before the sunrise. We are now all awake and regretting staying up so late. We all get our hunting stuff on and step outside. Of course, it is freezing outside and pitch black. We all split up and go to our usual hunting spots. My dad and I make our way 1 mile deep into the mountainous region of Wall, dodging cactuses, trees, and frozen water. We finally arrive at our spot just before sunrise and set up, hoping a deer would cross our path. We sat in that spot for 2 hours. Nothing came by. It was too cold to sit there any longer, so we decided to walk to our second spot and see if we could get anything there. After another 2 hours there and seeing nothing, we decided to go to our third spot and try our luck there. Absolutely nothing again. After another 2 hours, we have given up hope. We decide to make our way back to the camper and call it a day. We get to the camper at about 1:30. The only ones back are my grandpa, my dad, and I. We sit down at a table and enjoy some lunch. After we are done eating, my dad went to take a nap, so me and my grandpa go out to continue the hunt. Since Wall has such a brutal landscape, my grandpa can only go so far. So, when he reached his limit, I continued on and he headed back. I walked for maybe another hour, still seeing not a single deer. Then, I stopped at the top of a mountain to relieve myself, and out of nowhere, a doe not even 20 feet in front of me prances out of the woods and goes down the hill. I decided since it was the only deer I have seen all day, I would try to stalk it and kill it. So, I head down the ravine and up a mountain, down a ravine and up a mountain. Then, as soon as I am heading down another ravine, I spot my cousin and his friend hauling out 2 monster bucks. I talk to them for a while and help them haul the deer. They tell me that they have seen a lot of does at the bottom of the ravines, so I head off in front of them in hopes of finding one. After a while, I stop to take a breather. I look to my right, and bam! Right there on the side of the hill are 2 monster does. My heart starts to beat faster. I am extremely nervous. I lift up my gun, aim, fire, BAM! The deer let out a horrid noise I have never heard before. I put another bullet in the chamber and, since it was still moving, put another shot into it. It was still moving. I shoot up the hill, knife drawn to end its life. However, when I get up to it, I discover something horrible. It's a baby. I killed a baby deer. My feeling of excitement was exchanged with disappointment. I sit down next to the deer, sad not only that I killed a baby, but that I also wasted a tag on something so small. Out of nowhere, the baby deer started to breathe and slowly move its legs. I didn't know what to do. I was so sad that I killed a baby. I stroked its head, feeling as if I could comfort it. Then I felt something horrible, little stubs on the top of its head. I freaked out. I didn't waste my doe tag. I wasted my dad's buck tag. I began to cry. I was so sad. Then, out of nowhere, rage took over. I ran in the direction the mother of this helpless baby buck went. I was telling myself what kind of horrible mother would leave their child to such fate. Before I knew it, my running around had got me completely lost. Dark was fast approaching. I was completely lost and scared out of my mind. There was no cell phone service where I was, so I made my way to the top of the hill. It was completely dark at this time. Coyotes were howling all around me and I was so scared. I pull out my phone and dial my dad's number. I was crying when he answered. I managed to spit out, "Help me, and then click. My phone died. I couldn't help but to cry. Not only was I stranded in pitch darkness, but I had no food, water, flashlight, or cell phone service to contact help. After a while, I decided I thought I knew where I needed to go. I headed in that direction. I made my way uphill in darkness and, out of nowhere, crack! I fell over. I must have not seen the hole in front of me, and I twisted my ankle. Now I am lost in the darkness with the twisted ankle. I was about to give up when I heard two voices yelling my name. "Austin! Austin!" I yelled back, "Over here!" Immediately my feeling of fear left and I felt relieved I had been found. My dad and my uncle were here now. We make our way back to the camper. It was then I found out I wasn't even 200 yards away from the camp. Once we get back, I get warmed up. I felt so relieved to be out of that situation. I told them everything that had happened, and even though it was very serious, we all got a good laugh out of it. The next day we went back and got the deer I shot. They all made fun of me as they took turns picking it up with ease because it was so tiny. Once we got the deer loaded, we headed back home. Looking back on this experience, I am glad I had it for many reasons. One reason is that now I prepare for anything a lot more seriously. The next reason is that it taught me to never stray from the path unless you know how to get back. The last reason is that I learned that baby deer taste way better than the older ones.